Welcome to What's Trending with Tire Review, presented by Apex. I'm Maddie Weiner, and on the podcast today, I'm joined by Victor Darolfi, CEO and founder of RoboTire, as well as Ben Wilson, Senior Manager of Operations for RoboTire. Now, RoboTire is a system that can change a set of 4 tires in 20 minutes. Rather new company, and guys, I'm so excited to dig in and talk to you about some updates with the company. Thanks so much for joining us today.
No problem.
So just to get started, I've seen news releases from you guys. You all have started installing the RoboTire system not only at discount tire stores, which I know is a huge partner for you all, but also independent tire dealer stores as well. So can you just give me an overview of how many RoboTire systems you guys have working in stores to date, and what's been some early feedback so far?
Yeah, so we have 4 active across the U.S. Just like you mentioned, Discount Tire has 2 of them. One in outside of Scottsdale, Arizona, in Fountain Hills, and then Arlington, Texas. So the 2 for Discount. And then we have a small mom and pop Creamery Tire, which is outside Philadelphia. And then we just went live with the Detroit garage here local in Michigan.
Yeah,
Feedback has been great. Very receptive. The one thing that everyone loves is the robots do the heavy lifting, right? So the techs don't have to lift those 50-pound, 80-pound tires anymore. So everyone loves it because it makes their job a lot easier.
for sure. Yeah, no, that's great to hear. And Victor, just briefly for, listeners and people watching this podcast who are unfamiliar with the RoboTire system, can you explain how it works?
Yeah, so high level.
Yeah.
There's 2 robots on either side of the vehicle. We basically do a VIN scan to ingest vehicle information of the vehicle, and then robots then will come in. They have a camera system on them. They find the tire, they find the lug nuts. Then they go remove the lug nuts, remove the tire. And then we have 2 options of our system. One is a fully integrated with Hunter Engineering's tire changer and balance here, or the other one is we just kind of drop it on the floor and let the tech grab it from there. So depending on which option you choose, the tire gets manipulated differently. And then once it's either been replaced or balanced, depending on what services are being performed, the robot will then go grab the tire, put it back on, torque to OEM specs, and then done at high level.
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah. And I know when I visited your guys' HQ outside of Detroit last year, the technology that goes into it, and really it's very, no technician needs to be. I mean, there does need to be a technician controlling it, but it's fewer technicians and more of just letting the robots do the work, which I thought was really interesting. So I did want to ask, too, about, your guys' headquarters outside of Detroit. When I visited, last year, I think it was during the summer, you all were really scaling up to start deploying these systems to shops. And there was a lot of open space, but I'm curious to know now, what does that look like? How have things changed for you guys within the year?
Well, we filled out the space a little bit more, right?
Yeah, right.
We have 4 active cells being built up for the next customers in line. So space is kind of filled up with more robots on that side of the world. We're ramping manufacturing, more machines, more space. But then we also have continued to make new improvements. So there's here last year, robots are probably about 2 times faster than what they were when you were here. We've done layout improvements to basically minimize space constraints to going into shops.
Yeah.
And then there is a whole new slew of services that RoboTire will be pushing out over the next couple months from that side of the world to, again, add a better value prop to our end user.
Okay. Gotcha. Can you go into some of those services, or are those kind of under wraps for now?
Well, I would say it's more aligned with vision inspection services.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that until we can get a little down the path. And again, happy to have you on or come see it when we're ready to drop all those new services.
No, yeah, I'd love to. That would be great. That would be great. So, Ben, obviously the RoboTire system's an expensive piece of equipment. When you're talking to tire dealers, what do you say to them when they ask about the affordability of it and really the ROI?
Yeah, I mean, that's the number one question, right? How much does it cost? How long is it going to take for me to get a return? And, there's really no one answer to that question. It really just depends on what the operator wants to get out of the system. So, RoboTire is what you make of it. You can use it as simply a tool to help when things kind of get overloaded. You can use it as a workhorse to increase your throughput and install more tires. You can use it as a marketing tool to attract new customers that maybe want to try something like that. You can use it to implement safety features. So there's all these different reasons why someone would want a RoboTire system. And it's just a matter of tying the ROI back to that. So, what problem are they trying to solve? And then we can find a way to make sure that they understand how RoboTire can help them with that.
Yeah, for sure. And I know when we've talked in the past, you talked about, how the technician shortage is such a problem, in the industry. It has been, for decades now. And, I think in our past discussions, you said, RoboTire can almost help with that issue by sort of taking over some of that technician work. Am I explaining that correctly, or?
Yeah, so RoboTire was never designed to replace jobs, right? RoboTire was designed to serve as the most sophisticated tool in the shop. So, what can we give our technicians to help them do their jobs more efficiently, safer, faster than ever? The challenge with that is because the automotive industry has experienced such a challenge with labor and has been, like you mentioned, for so long, and it probably will not get any better. It's no longer a matter of people being worried that a robot is going to take their job because there's just no people to fill those jobs. So now it's a different problem of trying to make sure you have the resources to meet the demand. And a lot of shops are falling short. There's just not the interest in the industry that there used to be. And, with the trade schools just not, continuing to offer automotive programs, it becomes more and more challenging to hire talent. So that's where RoboTire comes into play. How can we augment the workforce to make sure that you don't have to keep just trying to hire people? Let's keep your stable crew and give them the best tools we can.
Yeah. And what you said, interesting, is, making it the greatest tool in your shop, essentially, especially for a tire dealer. That's huge. So yeah, I'm excited to see the, new things coming from you guys, because I know there's a lot going on. Victor, you mentioned it a little bit, and I want to sort of maybe pass this to you or both of you. So I'm just curious, what does the future look like for RoboTire? Are more installations on the way at shops? You kind of alluded to that earlier. Is there, different technology coming down the pipe? Tell me a little bit about that.
It's both, right? Okay. Again, we have a long backlist of customers. Some are big names and some are more mom and pop shops as well. Right. So we probably by the end of the year, there'll probably be about 10 RoboTire systems out across the U.S. and various shops is where we're planning. And then we're also bringing different feature sets. So like I said, we are looking more towards, if you had the tire off, what else can you do? Right. What other services can you provide? What other benefits can you provide? All in and around the tire. So that's kind of where our main focus is. We're also going to increase what vehicles we can support. Right now, we support any vehicle from a Prius to an F-150, 1986 and newer.
Wow.
We're going to start upsizing that to eventually get to the point where we could do Class A trucks. So that is we put over the next 12 months. What does that development look like from our side?
Yeah, no, that's interesting. And I remember when I visited, you guys were saying, you collect and input the OEM data. So can you describe, just for our listeners who want to get a little bit more info on that, how that all works. I know I saw it in action when I, went to visit you guys, but yeah, I'm curious if you could just dig more into that and explain that process.
Yeah, so again, that is based off of our VIN database. We've collected a very robust database from a few providers. We don't use one because, and then, the other aspect is we know a general information of the vehicle, but as the RoboTire services more vehicles, we then rebuild our database. So the way to think about it is the robots are continuing to get smarter. The more vehicles we see, the more vehicles we service to get even better reliability than what we currently have. Right now, we're at a 99% reliability.
Wow.
Right? We're going to start pushing that up. And a lot of that then becomes down to how do you handle the weird edge cases, right? And what a lot of us have to deal with up in the north, right? Snow, dirt. So you don't get a clean car, right? You don't get a clean tire that comes in. So how can the robots still adapt and do the work, right? That's why we continue to retrain our machine learning models in-house. We continue to try to keep building this more robust database based on, what we see.
Gotcha. Very cool. That's so interesting. And it obviously uses AI to do that, obviously as it does more jobs, it learns more. So yeah, that's very interesting. And Ben, I just wanted to throw it back over to you for one last question. I know we talked about last year I might get this name wrong, but like a RoboTire sort of university that you guys are setting up, or like a training system. Can you explain how that's going? Anything that's been added there based on dealer feedback?
Yeah, so really that's morphed into kind of what we're looking at more as like a operations manual, right? Sort of like a process flow chart for what the technician should do with RoboTire. So one of the benefits that I always talk to operators with is, this is an opportunity for you to redesign your shop workflow, right? Now you're getting a really sophisticated piece of equipment, and it's in a space that was previously used for something else. So how do we redesign your shop workflow so that you maximize the efficiency of kind of the tickets and how everything runs through the shop? And so that's really where that training program has been coming to life, is getting that feedback in terms of how people use the system, and then building that up into a robust, kind of pool of resources that our customers will then get access to when they get a RoboTire.
Gotcha. Very cool. Okay. Very interesting. Well, I know there's a lot to come from you guys, and we're excited to see everything you have to roll out this year. And I know you said there'll be more installations at shops. So yeah, lots going on with y'all, and looking forward to seeing more. And if people are interested, and dealers listening to this are interested in learning more about RoboTire, where should they go? Who should they contact?
Yeah, so our website's always a great resource, robotire.com. They can always reach out, sales@robotire.com, if they want to get more information about the RoboTire system. And there's plenty of contact us buttons on the page as well. So robotire.com is great website. We just relaunched it, and we're excited to show it off to everybody.
Awesome. Great. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. I've loved learning more about where you guys are at with the system and the business. And yeah, look forward to having you on the podcast again to get more updates. But best of luck this year, and I appreciate your time today.
Thank you
so much, Madeline.